really appreciate you guys being here to speak a bit about the Protect the Goal initiative. So we'll find out a little bit more about what it's about, but I'd just like to say welcome. And some of you guys also might be in our programs and have had a chance to play at the center. Welcome again to you guys as well. So what I will do is I will hand over, I think firstly, to Jibril. Is it Robin first? Which way did I go? Which way?
I'm going to go first.
Okay. That way first? Okay, so we'll hand over first to Robin to say a few words about the initiative and what it's about and so forth. Thank you.
I'm going to stand because then you can all see me. My name is Robin Peterson. I'm the Chief Executive of the SAFA, the Football Association. You all know what SAFA means? Yes. Doesn't mean SAFA. Well, that's what we felt like last night. It felt like we were suffering. But it's SAFA, and we have a new structure in SAFA called the SAFA Development Agency. And why do we have that structure? We have that structure because of what happened last night. Because if we don't fix football at the bottom, we will never be successful at the top. And so the development agency was put in place last year, and I was asked to leave my position as the CEO of SAFA and set up this new structure so that we can make sure that people like you, young people like you, get the right kind of structures and coaching and teaching so that you can become the future stars and play for Bafana, but not to lose 5-0, to win against Brazil, to win against every country in Africa, to always be the African champions. That's our goal. And we've set that goal for 10 years, but it must start now. Because it's no good reaching the World Cup in 2022. Who knows where it's going to be in 2022? Qatar. It's going to be in Qatar in 2022. And when we get there, if you think about Qatar in 2022, that's how many years' time? It's 9 years' time. 8 years now. 8 years' time now. How old are you? I heard some of you on the field, 15 years old, most of you, eh? Yes. How old will you be in 2022? Huh? No, not you. Don't ask me. How old will you be? 22. You'll be 22, some of you will be 23. What should be the average age of the Bafana players when we play in Qatar? 23. Your age. Somewhere here. Somewhere here. Maybe. Is that player who'll be there? Somewhere here. Your age is what we want to make sure we get the talent and take that talent and develop it to get our team to win. So what you do here on this pitch, and on these pitches here when you play, is the basis, is the foundation of that development. But what we're doing here today is something that's equally as important. You know, the statistics tell us that the new infections of HIV/AIDS happen mostly with young people. And what is the percentage? 15%? 15% of young people are being infected with HIV/AIDS. So I think there's about 40 of you here. 15% is how many? What's 10% of 40? 4, plus another 2, that's 6. 6 of you here, potentially, or statistically, will contract HIV/AIDS unless you do things to stop that. But if you don't do anything, statistically, that's what's going to happen. And let me say, from a football point of view, it might be our young number 6, I'm not saying you will, but we don't want to lose a number 6 midfielder who could be playing for Bafana because he now gets HIV/AIDS. And yes, with HIV/AIDS, it's not a death sentence. You see, there are 3 things we say about the 3 zeros. We don't want any new infections, so you must protect the goal. We don't want, so 0 new infections. We don't want anyone to die if they have got HIV/AIDS, and that's possible. With the right treatment, with antiretrovirals, with keeping your health and your nutrition right, you can live with HIV/AIDS, you can play with HIV/AIDS. Not a death sentence, and no discrimination. We don't want anyone to feel discriminated against. But if you don't protect the goal of your health and your sexuality and keeping yourself in school and keeping yourself from not becoming pregnant, you will never be able to play for Bafana or Banyana and be one of those that we're looking for here that will take our teams to international success. So when we talk about protect the goal is no new infections, 0 infections, no deaths from HIV/AIDS, 0 deaths from HIV/AIDS, and 0 discrimination. So by playing football, you learn about fair play, no discrimination. You learn about, as a goalkeeper, protect the goal. Protect the goal. Don't get infected. And you learn about fitness and health and staying strong and healthy and active. There is no need to die if you have HIV/AIDS. No new deaths. So those are the goals of the Protect the Goal. You're already involved with grassroots soccer, you know what that's about, you see the great work and the work that they do. We're wanting to say that we must take that work and take it across this country so that we can achieve our goal of no new infections, no deaths, no discrimination. So this is not just about health. This is about football. It's about achieving the goals that SAFA wants to achieve for its international success. So guys, protect the goal. Don't let AIDS score.
To protect the goals, we at the United Nations turn to young people who are leaders recognized by you. That is why we turn to Kweku Mandela here as United Nations. We said, Kweku Mandela, we want you to be the goodwill ambassador of UNAIDS for Protect the Goal, so that you can go around the world and use your leadership to make sure that young people achieve the 3 goals that we set up. Goal number 1, no more new HIV infection. Goal number 2, for those who are infected, no discrimination. Goal number 3, if you're infected, we want you to live as long as possible a healthy, productive life. So this is why we're very, very happy to have Kweku Mandela as the global spokesperson for the Protect the Goal campaign. He has another colleague who's also global spokesperson for the Protect the Goal campaign, and that colleague's name is Ndaba Mandela. So without further ado, let us welcome Kweku Mandela, please.
Thank you, Jim. Hello to everybody here. Let me first send deep apologies from Ndaba, my brother, and Jack Brewer, who's an NFL American football player, who wanted to be here today, but unfortunately due to other engagements could not. But this is a unique campaign for a number of reasons. One, because football, we know, is something that is so popular and strong in our community. So I want to ask a question. How many of you guys know who Neymar is? Put your hands up if you know who Neymar is. Okay. Neymar. How about Ronaldo? How many of you guys know Ronaldo? If you know Ronaldo, put your hands up. Huh? And Tumileng Kune, if you know him, put your hands up. All right. So tell me, why do you know Tumileng Kune, and why is he special to you? Stand up, please. Speak to everyone. And what's his job? And what does a goalkeeper do? He saves the goals, he protects the goal. And it's important for us to understand that protecting the goal is not something that just the goalkeeper does. The whole team has to do it, right? And I want you to think of all of us in this room, all of us in our families, all of our friends, all of our communities as a team, right? And so if we don't protect the goal collectively, right? If we don't keep ourselves safe collectively, right? Then how can there be a prosperous future? How can we expect to win in the future? And it comes down to each and every one of you. Because you're all young leaders, ultimately. That's why you're here. You're some of the best and most talented young people we have in our country. You know? You're not only good on the soccer field, you're good in the classrooms, right? You're not only good in the classrooms, you're good in your communities. And this is what we need, young leadership, to lead the way with this campaign. Now, how can you protect yourself? There's a number of ways, but the most important thing is to be aware of your status, to go get yourself tested, ultimately. And there's clinics around the community where you can do that. The other thing is to protect yourself, right? Safe sex is the #1 thing that we can do to protect ourselves, ultimately. And I know you're young, but you deal with these things, and that's why I'm being very upfront with you, ultimately. Because if you guys want to be the next Ronaldinho or Ronaldo, you know, or Messi, ultimately, you have to look after yourself, right? You have to manage yourself in the day. You have to show a certain amount of dedication. And you all have that ability here. So I would say to you, you're young leaders, and we're hoping that you will take this message of protecting yourself, not only back into your classrooms with your schools, but to your family and friends and to the community at large. Thank you, guys.
I did not hear enough the appreciation you gave me, my Lord. Please, let's make it warm. Now, next thing, I'd like the girls to stand up, please. The girls, please stand up. Okay, as you can see, it's almost like more than half of the room is composed of girls. You may be seated. What we do with sports, because normally my country of origin is Senegal. I come from Senegal in West Africa. In many African countries, when 2 children are born, a girl and a boy, very often the girl is kept at home to help the mother do the cooking, do everything, while the boy is out there playing football. And in many countries, the boy goes to school, the girls stay behind in order to help the mother. So what sport does, it really helps girls come and be educated, go to school, in addition to boys. Because in all the countries of the world, our societies hold back the girls. Because how can you be going to school if when you come home in the evening they say, okay, you have to first help your mother make the dinner, and then when you make the dinner, you're the one who's clearing the table, and then you're going to do your homework. By the time you get to do your homework, you're exhausted. Whereas the boys, they come and leave the back bed generally, and then get out there and go and play, and then come back and do that. So this is, when we're talking about protect the goal, we're talking about also the change of the mind, because everything is here. We have at the front here, for instance, the coaches, the trainers, they're going to be the parents of tomorrow, and then they are putting in you this kind of education. So that's point number 1. Point number 2, with what Kweku has just said, and also Dr. Robin Peterson, we are moving towards making sure that a number of things happens. One, when we were yesterday at the National Soccer Stadium, a number of things happened. Many of you saw the game. But at halftime, President Zuma, who's very concerned about the 3 zeros in South Africa, came and he joined us. He signed a ball that Leslie Odendal, my colleague who's here, has that ball, and the ball that she has will now go and be signed in all the countries that are qualified for the World Cup. And when you sign the ball, it means that you're committed to doing everything like what is being done here by grassroots soccer. I really like the work that grassroots soccer does. Grassroots soccer is a partner of UNAIDS, and they do a fantastic job, yes, really good job. And this is where we make a difference as United Nations. So that then that ball will arrive in Brazil. As you know, the World Cup is being held in Brazil. The World Cup starts on the 12th of June. So on the 8th of June, the ball arrives there. On the 9th of June, Kweku Mandela, Ndaba Mandela, the head of UNAIDS, his name is Michel Sidibe, with the President of South Africa, the President of Brazil, and others, will have a global launch of the Protect the Goal on the 9th. And then on the 12th, until the 13th, the day of the final, you'll be watching the final, it'll be the 13th of July. We have programs that will do voluntary testing, as Kweku mentioned, but also other activities, because normally, really, everybody, you should be abstaining from certain activities, like sexual intercourse. But unfortunately, you know, if you're going to be imperfect, you need to do two things. One, you need to protect yourself, and you need to protect the other person. So we have those programs also in there. So I wanted to make sure that you connect with us, we learn from you on how we protect the ball with sport. We're not just talking about playing soccer out there, but we're changing what is happening in the family home by taking into account